สบายดีVan and สบายดีพี่น้อง Welcome everyone to Voices from the LAOboratory. This is a podcast that centers the experiences of Lao diaspora women, sharing our passions, joys, and creativity. And today I have my and dear friend Vanh Bender. Van, welcome, and would you please take a moment and introduce yourself to our audience?
Sabadi, everybody, and thank you so much for having me on. It's such a pleasure. My name is Vanh Bender, and I am the author of Mommy Eats Fried Grasshoppers. I'm also a registered dietitian, so I became a dietitian first, and then along the way, I became a children's author, writing about my childhood from Laos versus my daughter in America. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm so happy to have you here and to hear about your double life as a dietitian and also a children's book author of a very beloved book, Mommy Eats Fried Grasshoppers. Before we dive into all of that, because we love to talk about this, how is your jai today, Ivan?
I think my jai is really them, like them jai, sanuk jai. I can't complain. I'm just full of gratitude because it's been such a good journey for the book. I have gratitude, especially for the Lao community. Thank you for so much for just like embracing the book, embracing like the idea of the book, and really keep it going alive. This is the fifth year in publication. And so I just want to say thank you so much for everybody, for all my readers that just keep pushing this little book as far as it can. So yeah, so I'm just full of gratitude. เต็มใจสนุกใจและหลายขอบใจและหลายเด้อทุกคน So boom. So I'm very grateful.
Congrats, 5 years. That's so
Wow.
amazing that it has been around for that long, especially through the years of the pandemic. It really was a source of joy for us. I am a teacher. I didn't teach elementary school, but I know the power of literature and art to stir our memories and our emotions. When I saw the illustrations and hearing you read this story, which is, like, very playful, but really illuminates some of the important cultural differences that your children, some of the younger generations are not aware of, but in a really fun way. It, like I said, really touch our jai.
Oh,
I'm curious, what do you think the importance of the term jai is to the Lao people?
I love that word jai, and I think a lot of our language has the word jai in it, right? Jai di, jai hon, jai yin, sut jai, right? Like when you're so happy, oi, sut jai, like it's like the maximum heart, right? How do you even translate that? I don't even know if there's a language word for that. We're so expressive and we say things with our heart. I think we really feel our words. Like before, I said our language is like emoji. It's so expressive. They say, Muang Laos is small, but Pukao Jai, big Jai, right? And I think that's really true because we're just full of heart and we're just so generous, so kind. If you go to a Lao person's house, what's the first thing they say?
Kin Khao.
Yeah, ginkgo is the first thing. And so that comes from your Jai. And I think that's what it means for us.
It gives a whole new meaning to soul food. Like when somebody walks through your door and the first thing that you offer them is food, a plate, or the way Lao people do it is you just sit down around the same pakao and digging together. I'm really glad that you brought that phrase up again. Muang La. Can you say that again?
What's in Muang Lao Noi, but Jai How Jai Nyai, like Jai Di. It's really too because we're just full of heart, right? You know how sometimes when you speak English, sometimes you have to be flowery, creative. Like you go around it, then you say something. I remember when learning English, I'm like, wow, I have to go around to mean something. In Laos, I just go straight. I'm like, this is what my heart feels, and I just say it. Maybe that is the difference, right? Like you just say what you feel. Think how many word Jai is in there. Like Jai D, right? Jai Hon, like Jai Yen. You put jai in it, right? Jai han, that means like you have hot temper. And chill, like you're relaxed, jai yin. Like the word jai is in there, cold hard, but it just translates differently.
You brought that phrase up when we did our mother's ones too, and I just remember writing it down because I was like, "This is, really interesting." I actually never heard that phrase before, but when you said it, I was just like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure this is, like, a thing that people say," because, like, in Lao, they use the word "Kon jing jai." Lao people are genuine,
Yeah.
hearted, and so to hear you reflect that idea, that sentiment too in the phrase Mương Láo Noi, because we are a small country. That's
Mhm.
usually one of the adjectives that we use. We're small, we're landlocked, we're
Yes.
poor. But to say that our chai is big or generous, that resonates with a lot of people, and that's what people go to Lao for, is that
Yeah.
it's different than other parts of Asia. It's another world, but it's has its own delights and sincerity.
I agree. Yeah. We're known to be JD, no?
I would love to ask you a little bit more about that. I feel like part of your project,
Mhm.
book and sharing Lao culture is choosing to remember life in Laos and a life that some people might call simple or
Yeah.
even poor. So, why do you choose to remember the toys that you made or the bugs that you played with?
I don't know if I choose it, but I think that's what is stuck with me. Because growing up in Laos, I was feel like I'm such a free kid. So when you allow children the freedom to play and not having any electronics to cloud your imagination. I get up in the morning, I had chores, I would like clean my house with my grandparents and boop, I go to school and I'm just like living my best life in my house. And those are the things that's imprinted in my mind. Like it never left me because it's almost like a dream. If I think back, I'm like, what was my childhood? I feel like it's Jungle Book, meet Hawaii, meet Avatar or something. I feel so fortunate and lucky that I grew up in a place like Laos. I always remember those moments. And when I had my daughters, I would read books to them from different places. And I said, wait a minute, I'm from far away too. Wait a minute. My life, childhood is as beautiful in all these books. And I said, daughters, I have to tell you about my childhood. So it start like that. And I think that those are the imprints that it just stays with me. And it's the happy memory, the simpler things in life, the things that we all strive for now. Like when are we most happy? When you're out in nature, when you're physically active, because the activity increases all these good hormones. When you're out in the sun getting your vitamin D, those are all things that makes you thrive as a child, as a person. And so those are the memories that I just remember so much. And I wanted to share that part of my life to my children and just to anybody that want to listen because before I came to America, I had a beautiful memory of how I grew up in my country. And so I just want to keep that memory because it is just so beautiful. That's probably one of the main reasons to remember it.
What a wonderful memory for you to have and to actively remember and share it. It's not the norm to hear people talk about their wonderful life in Laos, right? Whether they choose to not remember it or for trauma and other reasons, but to have your story that is about just what life was like because a lot of us don't know because we
Yeah.
didn't get to experience it. And you were able to enjoy some of your childhood in Laos and then remember it years later through your career as a dietitian on your way to becoming a children's book author. Tell us, what was the process like of writing your book? I know that you said it took, what, 7 years? What were those 7 years like?
7 to 8, more like 8 years. I started off as a volunteer at my daughter's school, and each night, I would tell my daughters stories. The thing was that growing up As a LAOboratory family, we never had books in our families. Like, no one reads anything. Like, there's no books, let alone children's book. I've never seen children's book at my home, only the books that we bring home from school, but we didn't really keep any books. So when I had children, I promised myself that I would read them books because I want them to grow up with books. So every night I would read them books. And then finally, I was like, wait a minute, I want to share my story too. Then I start like telling Molly and Leela about my childhood in Laos, right? Mommy used to eat fried grasshopper. Mommy, oh, when I see a banana tree, I would make my slipper. So all the stories in the books, it's like a really like 99.9%, like very close to my real life. Make the banana tree trunks. And the scenes in the book were each stories that I would tell my daughters. So I would tell Molly all that stories. Molly was like in first grade. So she would turn around and tell her teacher, Miss Ejamian, who is a wonderful, beautiful teacher. She loves culture. She would notice like Molly would share her story. Oh, my mommy ate that. Oh, my mommy did that. And so Miss Ejamian approached me and say, Miss Bender, Molly said you eat grasshoppers and you make your own toys. Are those true accounts? And I'm like, yes. I thought, am I in trouble? Is Molly in trouble? What's going on? She said, no. Just can you come to my class and share? I said, oh, share. She's yeah. Like maybe we can do like Lao Culture Day. I said, oh, okay. So my first time going in there to do Lao Culture Day. Actually, look, my first copy. This is what I would bring. Gosh, I haven't shown this. It's Mommy Eats Fried Grasshoppers. So I would keep everything there. I was so nervous. I'm going to go talk to first graders. What am I going to say? What if they don't like what I need to say? I don't want to embarrass Molly. So I go in, I have my folder and I go in and I bring my sticky rice basket and I just bring all this stuff. And then I have my little like book dummy. I start reading it. So that's when Molly was in first grade. So it was a big hit. And then Miss Jamin asked me to go back every year. This is before I actually wrote the book. So every year I would go in her class and do this Lao Culture Day, even though Molly is not there anymore. And then Leela was also in her class, my other daughter. And so we continued and we kept going and going. And then along the way, I start to actually write my story. So I joined like the writers group because I went to school to become a registered dietitian. And that's very scientific. You're solving like equations. It's chemistry, biology, right? The TC cycle, whatever, you know? Writing was like really creative. So I didn't really use that part of my brain. So that's why it took so long. I had to really learn the art of writing. I had to really learn like the art of being the author and all this stuff. I had to really learn from the beginning. So I joined a lot of authors group, a lot of reading. And then while I'm doing that, I think it took 8 years because I was also like a mom and dietitian prior practice. There was a lot going on, but I was so determined to finish that book because I wanted to leave something for Molly and Leela about my life. Being a Lao American or Lao refugee, you have all the stories and you just want to make sure you leave something for your children. I want to encourage people like write your story, tell your story. If you're here, it's important for your family, for your children. My intent was to write this book for my daughter so that way at least they have something. When I'm gone, at least they have something that's from my account. This is true for me, and that's the reason why I wrote it. That's the whole process of that, and why it took so long. It's just like the whole process of learning it. And then I met Noor. He's the illustrator, wonderful illustrator to work with. It took us like 2 years to actually finish the book. And we did not meet in person. We did everything online. But because he's also Lao and Lao American, understood what I was looking for. It was a good match. And I published it with Satu Press. So I was very fortunate to have met him and for him to bring this to life.
It's so inspiring to hear the story of your creativity. Like you said, you have this like empirical training background, science. And I think a lot of our families wanted us to go into professions like that, have job security, have a paycheck. Creativity to them was a luxury. So it's interesting to hear how you held on to that spark of the story and the exhilaration of being able to share it and It sounded like a very organic process, your story from ideation to the different things that you have to juggle as a mom and working person, but then also meeting the illustrator, and it just sounded like everything came together at the right moment to create this gift for us. It sounds like your daughters were really the first ones to celebrate your stories by
Mm.
turning around and sharing that with somebody who's very important to them, their teacher, and we're also very proud of you as their mom. So,
Yeah.
what does it feel like to have your children take your story and retell it?
It feels like a dream come true. I would never thought she would turn around and share my story because growing up, you're always shy to share because when you come to a new country, what we were told you have to acculturate. Oh, how mama make how what you gotta do what they do. Oh, okay. So you hear that. We have to acculturate. And when you're trying to make your new life, sometimes you push your old life and you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm gonna put it on standby and then I'm gonna try to create something. And sometimes you get lost and you're not able to really bring out your old life because you're so busy to acculturate to your new life because you want to fit in. Because if you don't fit in, maybe you don't go to the next level of school, of jobs, or whatever, because there's that fear because I want to thrive. This is my new home. But then at the same time, you're like, there's this big part of me, beautiful part of me. I can't let it go. When I had my daughters, I just gave myself like freedom. It's okay now. You get to decide, like when we have children, we get to decide how we want our family to be. And I said, I'm going to tell my daughters everything that I can because I got where I need to be. I'm already a registered dietitian and like I don't have anything else to prove to anybody. I'm just going to tell my story. So I told her the story. And then when she turns around and tell it to Mr. Jamin, and they are the inspiration of this book actually, because they really inspired the relationship with the teacher and the student is very powerful. Thank you for all the teachers out there. You guys put the seed in there and it's amazing. So thank you, teachers. You guys are very special and amazing people. And to know that your little daughter's proud of you, I don't even have a word to describe that. It's very touching. When she tells people my story, I'm like, she's not embarrassed about me eating bugs. She's not embarrassed about me eating this and that. I was just so proud. And it was like unthinkable. I'm like, really? It fills my jai. That's why them jai, like your jai is so sanuk jai, jai un, right? Like your jai is so un, so warm. Everything that I felt like I couldn't do when I was trying to acculturate, I get to do at my author's visit, right? When we first came here, I remember the ladies would wear sin, not like they would wear sin. Everywhere you go, wear sin. And then once we start acculturating, I don't see the sin anymore. I'm like, what happened to the sin? And then we got to the point like, oh no, I don't want to wear the sin. It's almost, let's put that aside. That's why I wear all my sin to visit. I bring the sticky rice. It's sharing everything that I didn't have a chance sharing growing up because this is part of me. Like this is who we are. So yes, the feeling of her sharing it is just really warms my jai.
I resonate with that so much because when I heard you tell the story of you telling your daughter stories and then her going to school to share, it's brung up this memory in me of when I was in kindergarten
Um,
and we had show and tell. I think it was my dad who had told me the story of how he escaped Laos. It's Thailand, like that very common story of our people. Most people had to cross the river, the Mekong into Thailand. He told me the story, and I remember going to kindergarten. I have no idea what I said, but I know that I shared this story, and people's reactions were like, "What?" It wasn't this welcoming
mhm,
curiosity, and that shut down a part of
uh,
me and wanting to share the little bit that I knew as a five-year-old student. That's always stuck with me. So your story, your work now has inspired me to also work with my mom. I think it's really important for me to center my mom because growing up, it wasn't like, oh, mom is the intellectual of the family. Mom is like the leader. I wasn't able to view my mom that way because of many reasons. So this is my research. my curiosities is really a way for me to see my mom's beauty and goodness and her jive, like the feeling that you just described. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that my mom has a similar feeling as she gets to know more about how I'm translating our story, her story to the world in terms of research. This is what happened to our diaspora, and here is
Yeah.
what America needs to learn about it.
No, I love that. That is so beautiful. I think it's gonna happen, so I can't wait until you complete your research in the process. I think it is so beautiful, and I love the idea of you including in your mom, and it's important because our moms are getting old, and they are one of the first people that's here, and there is so much stories. There's so many stories in all of our moms, our grandparents. Yeah, if we can extract that and preserve that is the first story of the Lao American people. I'm so delighted that you're doing this with your mom, and I can't wait. It's just going to be a beautiful piece of history for all of us. Like the future generation, I think about what if my kids have kids? Where are they gonna look for the Lao American history? Someone like you doing a project like that, maybe this book, that way they will not get lost because you can always find stuff, right? You can ask AI, you can Google it. You're not sure if it's correct or not, but at least we can put down our story. That's why I want to encourage everybody, please write down your story. You can write it down like anything. It doesn't have to be fancy paper, just something for your story because it's so very valuable.
That's something that I'm exploring is documenting because it can look very different ways. We're lucky that we have these tools. You can literally write in a journal, right? Or you can draw in a journal. But like here, we're doing a podcast and the conversations that we have here and in other spaces like this are also part of bringing our histories and our knowledge together. The nature of how we got here has been so fragmented. We're like putting together a puzzle.
And thank you for documenting this because you are documenting history. So thank you for putting this podcast together. It's a gift for the community. I really appreciate that.
I just wanna show, like, people, regular people, we can do research, we can publish. We don't need any, like, elitist institution to say that our work is valid or important or good enough. That's one thing that technology has brought us is some empowerment in being able to
Yeah.
capture. What's so funny is seeing memes about the Mai. We just
Yeah.
celebrated that, right?
Yes.
So, Lipi Mai.
Girl, why did we buy
I
something?
didn't my but, like, people, like, making fun of the uncles at the temple that are live streaming everything. It seems annoying that they're doing that, but they're live streaming to people in Laos, you know what I mean? And also,
Yeah.
when I was in Laos, my mom was like, "You need to live stream this because people in America wanted to see the bun that we were doing for my grandparents." Sometimes I think people go overboard with social media and documenting, but if you stop and acknowledge why, it
Yeah.
is all about that knowledge creation, the knowledge sharing through the internet and social media.
I know. You're right. You're right.
And that's actually also what we did with our mother swans. Our mother swans really was a space for us to think about what is from our mother's gardens, from the lineage of women in our family, what it means to be mom, daughter, sister, aunt, and a person living in the US. So our Mother Swans was a 3-day virtual bun where we brought together incredible Lao women to share their passions and expertise in 9 different workshops. You were there at almost all of the workshops and
Yeah.
also were the finale. What were your thoughts on our Mother Swans? What was your favorite part? What was it like to participate and share?
Oh my goodness. So the way I see it, I call it Bunchella. We were having a bun, like it's our own little Coachella. So I'm calling it Bunchella. That Bunchella was so amazing. I love the mother swan. When you have you swan to me dog mai, right? And we were all, each of us were like a dog mai. It's like the flower. Each of us were blooming at different stages. And the wonderful thing about a garden is that they say like the roots support each other. I was just like, "That's amazing." I feel like we go into this garden, and we're blooming at a different rate, but our roots is in there and we're supporting each other and it's beautiful. And towards the end, I love that we brought all the kids. All the kids came in towards the end. And those are the little buds that we invited to our garden. And I just love it. It's like this full cycle. So it was beautiful, very beautiful moment, and really got to spotlight all the wonderful women from each area of expertise and show us like who we are without holding back. Sometimes you go to a certain space, you gotta hold back some of your loudness, I feel like. So when we came to the mother swan, we're like, okay, I'm in the bunchala, here I am. I just went into that bunchala in the swan and I just let it go, right? So I just love the whole thing, especially the closing with all the children coming and doing the lamvong. I call them the little buds in the garden. That was my memory of that, of the bunchala.
No wonder you're an author. That
Yes.
beautiful way to describe the imagery of the swan. And that's the reason why we picked that is because the swan just represents all of those things, all of the life, all of the blooming, the interconnectedness of the roots. Thank you for mentioning that. It's about growth, right? Like it is like a snapshot in time, but we're all moving in different directions and to have people there and share the things that were special about them. I'm constantly amazed when I ask people to do things and they're like, sure. I think that there is something really special there because we want to celebrate ourselves. We know we're amazing. We want to be with other people who are doing similarly things for their own lives and community and culture. So I would love to keep planting and growing in that garden.
And I think the time to pick the fruit will come. So I think this garden is Lisa, I think this is just the beginning of your garden. And in the future, I know I see a full harvest coming your way. You have to tend to your garden because when you don't tend to your garden, what happens? I'm just so proud of you, proud of all the ladies that came to the garden. We get to be ourselves, just talk without pretending. So I love that so much. And I'm just looking forward just to see what else is growing in your garden.
Thank you for coming to play in the garden. And I appreciate what you were saying about your loudness. Sometimes you have to tone it down. And so this space is for you to bring yourself and not have to over explain, which is something that
Yeah.
we coming from such a marginalized population. I think a lot of times we're just over explaining. We're like, oh, that small country, the landlocked country, the one next to Thailand, the one next to Vietnam, the one that like got the bombs dropped on them. So to just come into the space and be like, oh, hi, Vanh. People that you've never met before and calling you Ue. We were talking earlier about my trip to Laos. Some parts of you do feel foreign to it because you are diaspora and you've lived most of your life abroad in the US. But when it comes down to the sounds, the taste,
Mm,
those things are imprinted in our
yeah,
jai. When somebody calls you Ue or when somebody says
yeah.
your name the way that it's supposed to be said, Bilaivan. It's in Laos, I could just tell people my name and they knew how to spell it. They're like, "Oh, Sunisa." I feel like I could find my name on a keychain over there.
I love that. No, the simplest thing, that is true. Like when you call me Ui, it does touch my heart. There's this place in my heart, it's Lim Jai. So little things like that. You're right. Even hearing you saying that, it's like, oh, she called me Ui. So it's neat in that way. So I get that.
And similarly, hearing you talk about your jai and all the terms that you were just so able to easily reach for to
Mhm.
describe all the ways that your jai feels is
Yeah.
those are the things that also I'm like, "Oh, Sanuk jai," you know?
And,
I
and
I love
Mhm.
that too because I feel like I'm just, like, explaining what the chai is before I
Yeah.
can be like, we use it with other it's just like when we did the workshop and I asked everybody how their chai was, and they were, like, all speaking Lao, and I didn't even expect that, but I think it just shows that we, in our own ways, we all want to interact. Yes, and sometimes it's a word, right? Sometimes it's like a just calling you "Ui" or "Nong."
Yeah. Yeah.
Those moments are important.
I agree because you know why? we're in the process of defining who we are as Lao American. I think it's a beautiful journey. Anybody out there, just go for it. Whatever you want to do, because we're in this process of defining ourselves, right? Just think about our children's children. Where would they look for information? We have a very important job right now. Just do whatever you need to do. Reach for that dreams. It's out there for you.
Speaking of dreams and reaching for them, what are we expecting next from you?
I do have a couple events that I'm doing. I will be at the Tamale Festival reading the book Mommy Eats Fried Grasshoppers. The Tamale Festival is one of the biggest festivals here in Riverside, and they have tens of thousands of people that go there. And then I get to be invited to share my book and the Lao culture. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit about Lao New Year because it's April. If you are here in Irvine in May, I'm going to be celebrating Mother's Day at Pretend City. It's a wonderful children's museum. You go in that museum, there's the whole city, and you get to play pretend. What a beautiful place for children to be. I'm going to be doing a reading there from 12 to 2 for Mother's Day. And then the big news is that I'm going to be at the Lao Food Festival June. I'm going to be reading. I'm just so excited. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. The details will come out. Please come and meet me. I would love to meet you. I just want to get a picture with you. It's a great place to be. There's so many foods. And last year I heard there's 10,000 people showed up and it's just a huge event. So please share with everybody. Come and try the amazing, authentic Lao food and stay for the story. I'll be at the Kids Corner. I hope I'll see you there. That's what's coming up. And I'm always working on something. I'll come back and visit the garden again.
It just keeps getting more and more exciting for you. And you all heard it here first. Vanh is going to be at the Lao Food Festival, second annual Lao Food Festival, which I'm so sad to miss. I can't make
Oh,
it here, but I am thrilled to know that you're going to be there sharing your children's book and just your story and some of your joy and passion to the very lucky people who are gonna be there. I think it was sold out last year, so I'm
oh,
sure it's gonna be popping again this year, and they are so fortunate to have you. So, would you delight us? Would you treat us
yes.
to just a little bit of your book? Maybe just pick out your favorite little section.
Oh,
We'll close it with that.
oh my goodness. I'll start with this because it's evening, right? So in the evenings, I watch cartoons on my tablet and then I do homework. Mommy watched shadow puppets on big sheet. She did homework on a small blackboard. Okay, how many of you guys remember when you were in school, you have to actually write on a blackboard? And here we are. I love potato chips. I eat them while mommy and I make Huang Malai. That's a necklace made of flowers. We're making one out of jasmine flowers like she did with her mommy when she was little. The scene, so I would give Nor a picture that I have in there. It's an activity that I actually do with Molly and Leela. I learn new things from mommy every day. And guess what? I just learned mommy eats fried grasshoppers. Want some? Mommy asked. No, thank you, I replied quickly. They taste like potato chips, mommy insists. I changed the subject. It's hot. Can we go swimming? I don't know if you see that. It says Lao chips. We swim in the pool near our house. Sometimes our dog and cat join us. Mommy swam in the fish pond near her house in Laos. She had a pet beetle and a fighting fish to keep her company. This is probably like one of my favorite scenes because, Nisa, I know you went to Laos. Did you see ponds like throughout where you go? And do you see people jump in?
Yeah, little kids would
Right?
play the ponds and in the rivers.
Yeah, it's so carefree. And this is why I remember, like, you just jump in. There's no time to go home and change, right? You just jump right in. And I love that freedom. By the time you come home and change, that's like an hour already, right?
And it's so hot too that you just
Yeah.
wanna jump in.
And then you get dry up, then you walk around some more, and then you jump back in. What a childhood just to have that. After swimming, I like going to the store to shop for toys. Shopping with mommy is super fun. We bought a baby doll, dress-up shoes, a jump rope, and a game of jack. Mommy made all her toys and fun things to play with when she was little. Made dolls out of rags, fancy flip-flops made out of banana tree trunks, a jump rope by tying rubber bands together, and used tamarind seed. I'm just curious, like how many of us, anybody do this growing up? Or was it just me and my friends?
I am familiar with Thin Yang.
When I read this to the aunties or grandmas, they've done all of these. So it must be their generation. Maybe I hung out with them. It was nice to see that. It's time for ballet class. I love to dance. So does mommy. She did the Lao traditional dance, not the sin at festival. I celebrate American New Year by counting down with people on TV and yelling, Happy New Year. Mommy celebrated New Year by splashing water on people to wash the bad luck away. And she yelled, Sabaydi, be my, and I will close with that. So Happy New Year. Sabaydi, be my everybody. Thank you so much.
That was so perfect. Yes, Sabaydi Pimay, everybody, and Sokdi Pimay to you, Van. I wish you nothing but blessings for this coming year and all the rest of your years. I feel so fortunate to know you and to call you my Uday and to have such a beautiful friendship that is based on our culture and healing and love for our mothers and daughters. Kapjai Lai Lai for being here and being in conversation with me tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us as well to hear these nourishing conversations between Lao diaspora women. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And come back next time to Voices from the Laboratory.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having
Bye.
me.